Gruesome Magazine.
My name is Jeff Mohr, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in theatrical release, streaming, and video-on-demand horror movies. Each week, Doc Rotten, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Mohr, and I will look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Not with us this week is Doc Rotten. But he shall return. And we're doing this movie while he's gone.
Oh yeah, he was good to us this week.
The better end of that.
So good.
He does. He gives us all the good ones. So, first up is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead girl. How you doing, Crystal?
I'm fabulous. I'm so happy to be here and to review this
That's what I was looking
movie and to be sharing my spooky evenings with the Gruesome family. Yay.
Who else? What better could there be? Also with us is Christopher G. Mohr, award-winning director and a guy who likes light accessories.
And
How you
dot,
doing,
dot, dot.
Yeah.
Okay?
I was like, wait. I was like, I couldn't tell. I was like,
are you okay, Jeff? Does someone have a scope on you?
That was
telling you what to say? Do we need to go save you?
It was a glitch in the electromagic universe.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Like,
yeah.
Are you AI? Are you Chat GTP or Pete? Whatever. Chat Gruesome.
I might make some sense then. So how you doing, Christopher?
I'm doing fine. I don't have a reason to go to any BP station anytime soon after watching this movie. But
it was a BP?
Or I'm just saying BP because it's a brand name as opposed to like or a Come and Go or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I was like, I didn't know what brand.
Or Buc-ee's.
Oh, Buc-ee's.
Well, it was kind of interesting, and we could maybe talk about that later. Maybe not. But so our topic tonight, the film we are reviewing is Night of the Hunted. 2023. It will be released on Shudder beginning October 20th, 2023. Streaming for all to see. The synopsis: when an unsuspecting woman stops at a remote gas station in the dead of night, she's made the plaything of a sociopath sniper with a secret vendetta. To survive, she must not only dodge his bullets and fight for her life, but also figure out who wants her dead and why. Directed by Frank Calfone, written by Frank Calfone and Glenn Frere. The original was Ruben Avila Calvo and David R. Lozada. This is based on a 2015 movie from Spain called La Noche del Ratón. I don't know if I'm spelling that right or not, but The Night of the Rat. And the last two writers were the people that put out that movie. The cast includes I guess that's the right list. I was thinking, who are these people? I don't remember them. I have no idea.
Like a big cast, doesn't it?
Monea Abdul Rahim, Abby Anderson, J. John Beeler, Brian Breiter, Brenda Nunez, Alexander Popovich, Isaiah Reyes, Camille Rowe, Jeremy Scipio, and Stasa Stanek. Alrighty, and Camille Rowe is on screen almost the entire movie as the lead character, Alice. Okay, well, let's get into our first. We'll do first impressions, and we will not spoil during that part, and then we'll move into spoilers, and finally give our score between 1 and 5 and our favorite scene in Night of the Hunted. So this time we'll go with Christopher first. What are your first impressions of Night of the Hunted?
Well, I will say the film is shot very well, and it's got a really sort of the main location is good. They have like a really cool billboard that's part of the film. I am not normally a big fan of contained area type movies. I think a film that kind of reminds me of is like the movie Phone Booth by Joel Schumacher, where you have a person trapped in a phone booth. And in this one, you have a person trapped in one location for a good bit of the movie. But I think the problem is the writing, I think, felt a little too on the nose and almost like, ooh, look how deep I am. Look how contemporary I am when it comes to all the pieces of political and a lot of the things people get, are always fighting about, whether it's abortion or the pharmaceutical industry or MAGA or, you know, being woke. I mean, there's like so many buzzwords through this. It felt like they got them all the hashtags off of Twitter, aka X. And it just felt like, ooh, look how cool I am, and then there's no payoff. You have all these different things. You have sort of without giving too much away, you almost have a faceless villain for the most part of the movie. And then when you have that moment where you want to see that villain unmasked, you don't. It doesn't happen, and it almost become frustrating because you're put through a lot of boring dialogue for most. I mean, this probably could have been done as a off-Broadway play. Not that it would have been any more interesting, because it just feels like people just being a little too smarty pants for their own good, and the acting performances are good, and some of the action stuff when it involves like the bullets and stuff are really well done, and there's a few pieces of gore as well. But it's weird that it takes place at a gas station, but it felt like it was spinning its wheels for the majority of the film. And it doesn't really, you can't, just like the character, you're really not going anywhere with it. And it's one of those things to where you're so dependent on the dialogue and whatever chemistry or conversation that's going on that by the end, it's like you pretty much just have two people that are not really good people to begin with. And you don't really care by the end, to where it's like, it's more about like, how much longer and the movie is really not a long movie either. It's like an hour and a half, I think.
Yeah.
But it felt like I was watching Avatar. It felt like 3 hours long. So, and it shouldn't be, but I think because it's so monotonous with being stuck in like a gas station, and it didn't really feel like there was any kind of, there's no arc for the main villain at all. But overall, the title's Night of the Hunted, and I was hunting for some kind of meaning or some kind of reason why I was watching this film, and I couldn't figure out anything. So my hunt was fruitless. So that's my first impression.
Okie doke. Thanks, Christopher. Crystal, how about you? First impressions of Night of the Hunted?
Well, I feel like Christopher worded it way better than I ever could. I agree with him completely on every aspect. I do think it was shot well. I liked the location. I know they were trying to do something with this movie, but I just could not figure it out at all. I know it was artistic, and I know that they probably finished it and went, wow, look at this beautiful piece of art and this political thing that we made. We're so good. But no, it's not so good. It leaves you hanging And I think that was the point. I think they were just trying to say this was all senseless violence. And I get that. We know what senseless violence is. We see it on television every day. I don't necessarily need to see that in my movies too. So, I found myself bored. I didn't care about anyone in the film at all, except for the little girl. And I guess that was the point, the little innocent child. And even then, I was like, God, really? Are they writing this kid that stupid? Because she did something when she first got out. I'm sorry, but no child of that age is that stupid. Oh, wake up. Really? Really? I think you know what happened. You're not that dumb. Not at that age. She's not a little child. Like, it's just, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't want to get it. That's how much I disliked this film. So, yeah, unfortunately, this was a big pass for me. I wish I wish I could
Okay.
get this time back. Seriously.
All righty. Well,
I don't have time in October for this bullshit.
really. Well, all right. I might surprise you a little bit, but I wasn't bored.
Oh, that's
but
good.
I was irritated.
Oh, okay.
And I thought Camille Rowe did a great job as the lead. I thought she did a real good job acting and running through all that, drama and stress and action and whatever else was going on. But it's very confusing in that you feel like there's some connection, but you don't know what it is and you never find out. And maybe that's okay, because the point is, I think that the guy who is sniping at this gas station or convenience store gas station, you can find, if you want to find a reason to kill people you don't know, you can find one. You're just not, but it doesn't mean it's a legitimate reason. So a lot of the thing that angered me was a lot of the dialogue was him trying to convince her that I think that he was in the right and that she deserved what was happening to her, which was ridiculous. So the one thing I liked is I shouldn't give spoilers. So anyway, I wasn't bored. Let's put it that way. I wasn't bored. I was irritated. I liked the I'm sorry, but the sniper and the sound effects and that kind of stuff I thought were done well.
Mm-hmm.
The layout, the things where she tried to make use of things in the gas station without getting shot while she was using them to help herself out. But there was some really dumb things there that I'll talk about in a minute. I just can't deal with. So anyway, let's move into into spoilers. And
I can't deal with that.
Well, here's my lead is this guy is out there aiming at him with a sniper gun. And so how do you reach for your phone that's out in the open? You stick your hand out there as slow as you possibly can. You don't try to reach out and grab it real fast. I mean, I don't get that. And she did it, and the guy did it in the car too, and it drove me nuts. I'm like, God, have you guys ever, if you're going to do something like that,
do it.
Be as quick as you can. Yeah, don't
get a stick and knock it.
That's like when
down,
you're going to
go
that too. Yeah,
that's what I would have done.
When you're going to go kill an insect, do you just you just go, and then it dies quick.
So anyway, there was several things like that. There were some things that she did to help her out that really hurt her, I think, and I don't know if it did or not, but she figures out how to turn the lights off, most of them.
That was good.
Not the display lights, but the ceiling lights. But then when a car comes, I assume they drive through because it looked like the lights were off. I don't know. There was one car that came and just drove on through. And they're better off that they didn't. So,
Just have bed credit.
but we have a bunch of weird little plot devices that lead to some sort of connection. Like this whole thing was planned and they were targeted, but yet, and he hints at things that he kind of knows about her that she doesn't know, but he could have been somebody that worked for She Worked. I don't know. That's about, but it just, nothing that he said justified what he was doing. And you know, he tried to lay it on her because she was having an affair, and hey, shame on her, but those two things are not equal in the grand scheme of harms done to people. So anyway, that's the stuff that bothered me. Now, in the end, I felt like she says to the guy, the guy kind of puts her in the spot, would you give your life up to save this girl? And she says yes. And that's what she ends up doing in the end, right?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that kind of feels like a full circle, but it was like a big tease. You know, he goes up to the little girl, starts to pull his mask off, and he hits her, and then she starts to pull his mask off, and he starts fighting with her, and so we never do see if this guy is anybody she knows or what.
But I mean, we only know the husband. Like, we don't know anybody else in her life, so we wouldn't even know.
The guy that was in the car with her. That's the only other person.
He's dead.
Right,
yeah.
and he's dead.
Well, I guess it would have been one of those moments like, oh my God, you're Herman from the mail center. But yeah, it had that like Scooby-Doo moment that never happens, where it's like, where you at least want to have some kind of, I mean, the only underlying thing also is like, you know, you have her supposedly working for a pharmaceutical corporation, and the pharmaceuticals, you know, because they're giving drugs that possibly people could die from, it's almost like a faceless villain as well, you know. So you have that.
Right.
So almost by her working in that, she's part of this corporation that's like, you can't really pick and choose one person per se that caused it, but because you're part of it, you're wearing a mask, I guess. So that was the only underlying thing I could sort of see where he was trying to hint at there. But yeah, it's there's just moments where she just makes, you know, and there's a moment I was like, oh man, maybe she's gonna like pull a Home Alone and make something that she can fight with, and other than just a big long stick or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I don't know about you, but it's like, if I don't know who I'm fighting, I don't know if it's a military person, I'd be sticking all kinds of I'd be putting like extra razors in my pockets. I would, you know what I mean? Because, you know, like I'd be wanting to be ready to fight, you know? So I just kept thinking like, oh, you know, and then I don't know. I just like, I kept thinking she was going to turn into like, you know, like Sigourney Weaver or something at moments. But
did they really want to kill her though, or were they just messing with her? Because, well, I think they did toward the end, but I mean, he did miss her and just shoot her in the arm.
Well, he didn't shoot her that time she ran out. The one time she runs out on the sidewalk and is yelling at him.
I don't. Well, I think the main thing is like when she was trying to say something, and you're trying to teach me a lesson. I think he was trying to teach her a lesson, and that's the reason he didn't kill her off right away, because he just wanted her to have a realization of like, you know, that's the only thing I can think of why he was kind of playing with her like she's prey. I think instead of just shooting her willy-nilly for no reason, her not knowing why, he puts out all these specific ideas of why you deserve to die. And also you should feel like you're a horrible person because of all these things, people you affect by your decisions and stuff. And I think that's the only kind of takeaway I could think of the reason why he was just allowing her to sort of like get away with so many different things by the end. But I will say, Crystal, the little girl, like,
well, no, when she goes to her grandmother, I know, I'm like, come on. Like, she was not that young. Like, I could see that if it was like a 3-year-old, but she's clearly like 9, 10.
Well, she could read. She definitely could read, right?
Exactly. So she could read. So she knew, wake up, Grandma. Okay. I really just, I cannot handle when they put stuff like that. That's just, to me, that just makes makes me angry because it's acting like the audience is stupid. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and I think, like I think did you guys ever seen what's it called? 9mm, or is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
8
Because
millimeter.
8mm, I'm sorry. The end of that, when you find out, like, you're hoping you find some reasons, like, I don't have to reason, I just want to do it because I want to do it. That's at least more of a reason than this film, which doesn't give you anything. You know what I mean?
And I loved 8 millimeter, and I could get behind that because he could get away with it. He did. Okay, fine, I get it. I get senseless violence.
But this just, they throw all these different, like I mentioned earlier, buzzwords and all these political things that people fight over. There's a mention of January 6th. There's a mention of, woke, and there's all these different things you hear from both Republicans and Democrats and the people that fight all the time online on YouTube. And it just, by the end, it just seemed kind of meaningless. Like, we're just trying to give all these different reasons why somebody would do something, but then you don't give a reason. And I think there needs to be more than that, because I think, again, the reason that people go out and shoot people and stuff, there's usually a reason why they do it. It may be some crazy reason. It might be some political reason. It might be some personal reason. But there needs to be a reason. And I think it's like they leave it so open-ended that it becomes more of an annoyance than anything else. To where it's like, why did I sit through this whole film and not get any kind of semblance of why this guy did this or who this guy was to her? Because he knows enough pieces of information where he's somehow connected to her. He's definitely not some kind of random person, unless maybe it's another person like, well, I'm a hacker, and I can learn everything about you.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of was if it had something to do with the drug company, and they were at this convention, and so maybe he followed them, found the car, realized they were having an affair, puts the hole in the gas tank. But then you get this whole other thing about, so all this stuff about all the harm that drug companies could do. But then there's this other thing about having the affair and having to
it's like it's just they're trying to throw it. Can you imagine? Well, I mean, okay, how if it was just electronically, like, I don't know for sure how he would even be able to find out she was married. I don't put a lot of my personal information at all online. So it's like,
well, he knew what drug company she worked for. So either he found it online or he followed it. I just don't see everything. It's one of those ones that's like, he had to be set up before they got there.
Yep.
How did he know that's where they were going to pull in?
Thing, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
The gas tank's leaking, but how do we know how far we'll go? So anyway, it was just, yeah.
Well, and I think it would have been interesting if we actually got some real, like, evidence or something involved with who this guy was. And there was one moment actually in the gas station where she's going through this box and finds all these things. And for a minute there, I thought this is supposed to be information. This is supposed to point out who this person is. But then it just feels kind of random, because then you find out he's not even the person that's connected to the girl who worked there. So it's like, so what was the whole point of us seeing these pieces of information if it's not supposed to inform more who this person she's dealing with?
Well, he knew something about that place because he had the key for the
so he had to work there, but then it's like, other than maybe just being like military or somebody,
he could have taken the key from Amelia, though.
Yeah, but I think in these kind of situations, you kind of hope that maybe that she gets the upper hand by, like, getting pieces of information or having a better understanding of who she's dealing with. But, and again, maybe that's the whole point of it. You really don't know. It doesn't really matter in the long run, but it matters if you're telling a story, because then it's just, it feels like a waste of space, a waste of time, not having some reasoning for why.
Well, the only other thing, there was a thing too where she says, I think he says, "What do you want?" or something like that. Or I don't know what, I don't remember when the conversation is, but she talks about how, I just want to live a life where men aren't controlling everything I do. That's my husband, my boss, everybody's telling me what to do and how to feel. And
that's weird too, I feel like.
Well, again, that's the buzzwords. Oh, it's all the patriarchy. And it's, it's like every little thing, it didn't feel real. It just felt like
Here she
all
is
these ideas.
she's making a choice to have an affair. That is something that she's choosing to do.
Right.
Okay, like what?
Well,
what-
but then she points out at the end that she chooses to not have kids. She says it's her
Yeah,
choice.
it's very weird.
So it's like,
understand.
Yeah. But she's being, if that's true, then she's being pressured by her husband to have kids.
Well, yeah, but
And
then
she's
it's like,
either not telling him the truth.
but again, that's, to me, that's probably the most annoying thing
But
for
she's
me.
lying to him then, because she said she wants it too. She literally says that in the text. So she does.
She's lying.
I'm sorry, but it's not the men that are the problem. It's you for not being honest.
Well,
you're a lying bitch.
But again, that the way these characters are written, they're just they're more social media feeds than they are real people, because it's like that again. I think that whole conversation felt like, oh, this is a way we can work pro-choice into this by I choose to not have kids, so I'm gonna lie to people why I can't get pregnant. I mean, there's like so many ridiculous things that that feel like more like these are the hot button topics we need to put in the script, as opposed to what makes sense for why these characters tick and why this thing plays out. And it becomes so bogged down in it. It sucks all the gasoline out of the car.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun, like in the movie.
It does.
For anything to really happen or for it to really matter by the end. And that, to me, that's more than anything, because it was like, I agree with Crystal. I found it to be very boring and monotonous. And then when there's really no payoff other than like, hey, suckers, there's really we're not going to tell you anything.
So I found the physical interaction between them, the shooting and the hiding and the trying to figure stuff out. I found that interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
The discussion was boring because it was nonsense.
Illogical. Yes, it was illogical. Yeah. That's the problem. That's what made it so disappointing. And it felt like everything was meant to just throw you off more.
Well, unfortunately, there are people that use that think that way and reason that way as well. All right, let's get to favorite scene and score between 1 and 5. What are we looking at here, Christopher?
I'm giving this a 1.5. I thought this was a slog to get through, and it's a very annoying film. It was shot well. And it had good sound design. I think you mentioned, Jeff, there's some really good sound design involving like the guns and sounds and stuff, and even the practical effects with like the gunshots and stuff worked really well. But as for favorite scene, the scene that takes place in the gas station, no. I will say, oh, I know what. The garage door.
Of course, the head crush. Yeah, of course.
That was the only. I mean, that was a really
garage
good
door.
The garage.
Yeah, the head crush.
The head crush.
Oh well, that wasn't the garage door. That was a lift.
Oh, well,
that was a lift. I thought
that was a vehicle lift. They have those.
Oh, I couldn't even see because it was so dark.
It seemed like a garage.
Yeah,
I thought it was a garage door
too.
Because he opened the garage door and I thought she was closing it, so I didn't.
Me too.
See, I was at that point. My brain had tuned out.
I thought it was the same thing.
It was like a steel tube on a when they lift a car up, it's got a frame.
Oh, really? The whole time I thought that was.
When they brought it down, there was like a steel tube that came down. Because you could see. Anyway.
Really? Because I felt
like
then
they
were
leaned up
against the door.
Well, that's what I thought, and I could be wrong, but anyway.
I don't know.
No,
but anyway,
I'm sure you're right.
Well, then I'll just say the head crush scene. I think that was because by that time, like, thank God, we could end this film some way. At least I know for sure. One thing is sure: this guy's dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't have to hear him talk anymore.
Well, Anyway, thank you, Christopher. Crystal, score and between 1 and 5, and your favorite scene.
I'm going to give it a 1.5. Is that what Christopher gave it to?
Yeah, that is.
Okay. Yeah, because it irritated me. So therefore, it gets a lower score. And My favorite scene was the headshot because I think it was done well, and I liked seeing so
The,
you know
The
what I'm talking about.
boyfriend.
The
Oh, the
headshot. I
boyfriend?
don't know. No, it's not the boyfriend.
Oh,
No,
the guy on
I
the
don't. I
guy
don't like
kinda-
to talk too much about and give it all
Oh,
away. It was the
never
other
mind.
dude
Okay,
where
well,
he
there's
reached
two
for his
headshots.
phone. He
There's
reached
two
for his
headshots,
phone,
so-
and then it was a
Oh,
headshot.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Mhm. Yeah, because and then it was
Gotcha.
like I thought it looked good. I mean, the effects were good.
Yeah,
I'll give
that
them that.
was.
Yeah, I
Because there's a
enjoyed
few
those.
different headshots in this.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the movie looks good, and I'm going to make one comment I was kind of planning to say is that I don't think we need a movie that's literally like 90 minutes of a guy spewing sort of real life buzzwords to justify killing other
Mhm.
people. I don't think we needed that. But anyway, I'm going to go, I guess I'm going to go with 2 just because I did like, as you guys were saying, the sound design, the layout, the shots. I mean, the billboard was kind of cool. So anyway, favorite scene. Oh, well, I guess I'll take the other headshot. No. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I thought that was a good
I'll take the other
scene.
headshot. When
I mean, because he was, it was kind of funny. It made
well,
me
it was good
laugh.
effects
I
and
was
good
like,
sound
oh.
and good production design all the way around, I thought.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's shot really well. But sometimes shooting stuff well isn't
Isn't enough.
the only thing you need
Mhm.
to do. But I will say, I will say, it seems like you mentioned like the buzzwords and stuff. I feel like that we're running into this a lot lately, to where a lot of times movies are starting to make their villains where they're like the same type of villains, because we had
Yeah.
that with like Wrath of Becky, which sometimes it works well, but at some point I feel like we're going to be so inundated with sort of like these
Well, and
MAGA killers.
that was a little different. They were
No, I'm saying that's different, but I'm saying that like
But-
I'm starting to see that a lot in other films as well.
this one was like giving this guy soapbox almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's giving him a
all this
reason
stuff
for
and
why.
defy
Why.
her to contradict him, but then there was no point in that either.
Mm-mm.
All right, well, appreciate it, guys. That's it for Night of the 100. Check that out on Shudder on Friday, October 20th. It should be released. All right, guys. So hey, thank you very much.
Thanks for
Doc
having us.
Doc will
Yay.
be back next week. And
Oh yeah, I'm not going to be here next week.
wait a minute, what's going on
Wednesday.
here? All right, well, we can talk about that later.
I'm gonna go to an advanced showing of Five Nights at Freddy's. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. While Christopher's at Halloween Horror Nights.
Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah. Okay. So
Although I am going to a special screening of Five Nights at Freddy's on Thursday, and I get a special pizza box, Five Nights at Freddy's pizza box at the Alamo.
I wonder if they'll have anything special for us.
So in your face, they're
Oh,
specially
you guys,
screening.
you guys.
I see.
All right.
I
Well,
see.
Say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.